Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sara Lubratt, and today we are going to be talking about how to write a book in a month. If this sounds daunting, it's probably because it is a little bit. Today we are going to be focusing on 8 tips on the strategy side of writing a book in a month. If you are looking for plotting advice or character advice, I have a whole playlist about it. You can view that here, but for an endeavor like writing a book in a month, the strategy is very important. We're going to be covering my 8 tips on how to write a book in a month and or win NaNoWriMo if that's what you're participating in the effort of writing a book in a month. If you are not familiar with the term NaNoWriMo, it stands for National Novel Writing Month, and it happens every November where thousands of writers attempt to write the first draft of a book in the amount of 50,000 words, and I have won Nano once, which means that I accomplished those 50,000 words in a month, which if you are writing every single day boils down to 1,667 words a day. This is quite the undertaking. If you are thinking about doing this year, just know that I am here cheering you on. I'm so excited for you to embark on this journey, and now without further ado, if you go on to find these tips helpful, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. And now without further ado, let's get into my 8 tips. Writing 1,667 words a day for 30 days in a row is no joke. Some people are in a position where they can write every single day or where they are trying to prioritize writing every single day, and the reality for most people, including myself, is just that that is not the case. So when taking on a 30-day challenge like this, it's important to plan ahead. It's just reality that there are some days that you're probably not going to write the full 1,667 words in a day, or you might even have a 0-word day, which when we're talking about the scope of a month, very quickly impact how many words you need to be writing a day. So it can be very helpful before you begin this process to sit down and look at your calendar and try to figure out how many days you realistically think you will be able to write, which days you might be able to get more words in, and what days might just be fully 0-word days. If you think that you are only going to be able to write 25 days in a month, then suddenly the average needed, again, quote unquote, if you're trying to shoot for an average word count daily, rises from 1,667 words to about 2,000 words a day in order to hit the 50,000 words in a month. And this tip was the biggest game changer for me because I had attempted Nano several times in the past. And then the year that I finally won, I planned ahead and started strong, which is tip number 2. Yes, writing a book is more of a marathon than it is a sprint, even when we're talking about a month and not something like a year. But there is so much positive energy around NaNoWriMo with so many other writers also trying to write a book during this time that it is important to lean into that momentum as much as possible at the beginning and try to bank as many words in the first couple of days as possible, especially if those are not some of your expected 0-word days, because inevitably something is going to pop up during the month. You're going to have a lower word day. It is so much easier to get ahead early on and then stay ahead than it is to have a low first couple of days and then try to get your momentum back to getting above where you need to be on your average daily word count to then finish out the month strong. This seems to be the biggest issue for a lot of people that attempt to do NaNoWriMo, is if they don't start strong enough, they just taper off and then either give up partway through the month or cannot hit the 50,000 words by the end of the month. So try to bank your words and your time early on. And that flows directly into tip number 3, which is to schedule and protect your writing time. When writing in general, but specifically when embarking on something like this, it is so important to have scheduled writing time, or at least for you to know when you write best or when you can write at all if you have a job or kids or a family or have to make dinner every night or whatever. Different people write better at different times of the day. Some people are really amazing morning writers. I personally am a really lovely evening writer. Like 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. is my prime writing time, and I try to protect that as much as I possibly can. And some people can only write during a lunch break or during 5 minutes while they're waiting to pick up their kids from school. And it very much just depends on your life and what else you have going on, but try to figure out when you can write during the day and then make sure to fiercely protect that time. Tip number 4, especially if you have little pockets of time throughout the day, is to utilize writing sprints. I do this even if I can sit down for 2 hours and write. I do better if I can set my timer for 20 to 30 minutes and sit down and do very focused work for that amount of time. And then I stand up for 10 to 15 minutes and try to do what I call productive breaks, which is doing my dishes or something where my hands are busy and moving, but my mind can keep working on what I'm writing, which just seems to make it easier for me for when that break is up for me to go back to my desk, sit back down and do another writing sprint. These writing sprints also work great with little pockets throughout the day. day. If you only have 10 minutes, great. Set a timer, sit down for 10 minutes and write. Those little pockets of time or those writing sprints will add up throughout the day, and then will also continue to add up over the course of the month. Tip number 5 is to experiment with little writing tricks. One of my favorites that is very controversial, some people love it, some people hate it, is writing with Comic Sans. I know that it's controversial. I did not like it for a long time, and then I tried it during the Nano that I won, and for some reason writing in Comic Sans makes the writing process feel so much less serious and daunting, and somehow that just helps the words flow, so I was not going to question it. When I am drafting a story, I really like writing in Comic Sans, and for every writing sprint that I do within a day, I make that writing sprint a different colored text. This helps show me the progress as my words are flowing, and it just makes it feel like I'm accomplishing so much more because it's not just all continuous black text. I can look up to the top of the purple or the orange section and realize how many paragraphs or even pages I am away from the beginning of that writing sprint. Tip number 6 is much easier said than done, and that is to edit later. The whole point of trying to write a book in a month or participating in NaNoWriMo is to get a rough draft of a book done, and you do that by not limiting yourself. Don't try to hold yourself back. Don't slow down to go back and edit something. If you want to change something in the larger story, don't go back and edit. Just change it where you are and then keep writing from there. Future you will go back and edit. Future you has got you covered. As soon as you can learn to edit later, you will save yourself so much time. Tip number 7 is not forgetting rewards for your milestones. We're not above a little bit of bribery here. If you need to bribe yourself with a piece of chocolate or some popcorn for every 100 or 1,000 words you write, great, amazing. If you want to buy a new book or a new notebook or a new set of pens every 10,000 words, amazing. I am so here for it. Find something that will motivate you to continue writing and will help you celebrate your progress and what you've accomplished so far during the month, throughout the month, to keep yourself going. And then of course at the end of the month, when you have accomplished so many words, make sure you celebrate. You can get yourself a cake, you can celebrate some other way, just make sure that there is celebration happening to really show yourself how much you accomplished. Because what you are doing, writing a book in a month, is a very big thing. And tip number 8 is one of my favorite when I feel like I just can't stop checking my phone, is to set up a time lapse from my phone looking at my computer so that I don't check my phone because checking my phone would interrupt my time lapse, and then can go look at my time lapse after I'm done just to see how much the pages were scrolling as I was writing. Time lapsing anything in general is really great too. If you need to clean your room, set up a time lapse, you're gonna feel like you accomplished so much by the end of it. And as I've been filming this video, we now have a bonus tip number 9, utilize double spacing. It is going to make the pages flow faster, and even though this is technically a word count challenge, I find it easier to feel like the words are flowing, which then keeps me writing if the pages just keep scrolling. So writing in double spacing as opposed to single or 1.15, which is actually what I tend to edit at, just makes it feel like you are accomplishing more, which just keeps the momentum up, which is one of the biggest things for trying to accomplish something like this. So that all being said, congratulations on setting out to do something like this. Let me know down in the comments below which tips you found helpful, or feel free to drop some more tips if you have some that I did not mention in this video. Best of luck to you as you work on writing a book in a month. I'm here cheering you on. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Sara Lubratt, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.